Hola a todos, buenas noches. Hoy es martes 27 de febrero de 2024. Son las 7 de la noche en Colombia. Yo soy Mike y les doy la bienvenida al día 4 de nuestro curso básico de español. Charlemos Pues. Hi everybody, good evening. Today is Tuesday, February the 27th, 2024. It is 7 p.m. in Colombia. I'm Mike and I bid you welcome to day 4 in our Let's Chat, Let's Talk, Charlemos Pues, basic Spanish course. This is a basic course. The idea on the classes that we are following is to talk, to have tools in order to speak, to say things, to start basic communication in Spanish. And of course, the grammar concepts that we are going to need. I have videos, and as I explained before, Spanish is a complex language, but Spanish basically works pretty much like English, because the structure for sentences is subject, verb, object, just like in English. But there are some things that can make learning Spanish a difficult thing. One of them is, unlike English, in Spanish, we skip subjects a lot. Because the conjugation of the verb implies who are we talking about, or who's the subject in the sentence. In English, that doesn't happen in English. So let's say if I say we played yesterday, in Spanish I can say nosotros jugamos ayer, but we most likely are going to say jugamos ayer, and that's it. We skip the nosotros because jugamos already tells us, plus context and everything, is going to tell us who are we talking about. We played yesterday, jugamos ayer. That's one of the things. And the other thing that makes Spanish difficult is, of course, the conjugation of the verbs, because in English we don't have pretty much conjugations. Well, yeah, we conjugate in the past, the gerund, progressive. We have for irregular verbs the past participle, but it's a basic conjugation, and the conjugation is the same for all of the subjects. Unlike in Spanish we have different conjugations for the same tense, for the same verb, depending on the subject. So that makes Spanish difficult, learning Spanish difficult. So I have a lot of videos here in my channel in which you can find conjugation for regular verbs, the conjugation for regular verbs, and some irregular verbs, the most used irregular verbs. So that's something that you can do on your own. You can go check the verbs, check the rules for the conjugation for the regular verbs, practice that a lot, and get used to that. So remember, we are learning a language. How do we learn a language? By exposure. We need to expose ourselves to language. That's very important. Repeating a lot and associating things. So one of the very first things that you most likely have learned right now, and most likely already think in Spanish, is hola. That's so easy. Hola. Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? Gracias. Those things are, we repeat that so many times that our brains immediately connect the idea with the word, the sentence in Spanish. Buenos días, hola. We already know what's that. We don't have to think, oh, hola means hello. Okay, hello, that's not. No, we have repeated that so many times that we have learned. So that's what you have to do. That's something that I cannot do for you. You need to repeat a lot, to expose yourself to the language, to listen the language a lot, to make mistakes, to start talking. That's what you have and you must and you need to do. And to do so, you can find language exchange partners, people speak English. I mean, who speak Spanish, and they want to learn English. There's a lot of things to do. The good thing is that Spanish and English are two of the most spoken languages in the world. So that's a good thing. A lot of people out there who wants to practice and learn both English and Spanish. So that's not gonna be hard finding people to practice with. So having said that, I give you welcome to our day 4. This is Charlemos Pues. And the last class, we talked about things that we say for introducing ourselves. Things that we say. Remember, if you like this video, you know what to do. Share with your friends, group, social media. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, click the bell button in order to get notifications. So whenever we go live, you get the notification. You can check the class. If you cannot, don't worry. This class is going to be part of a playlist. It's going to be available always when you get to this channel. And also, that gives you the chance to participate during the live classes on the chat. So that's interesting and that's important. So last class we were talking about ourselves, giving and asking for personal information. ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? What's your name? Me llamo Miguel. My name is Miguel. I'm Miguel. Soy Miguel. Where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde sos? I'm from Colombia. How old are you? ¿Cuántos años tienes? I'm 53 years old. I'm going to be 54 on Monday. What do you do for a living? ¿A qué te dedicas? ¿En qué trabajas? I'm a teacher. Soy profesor. And so. So that's what we learned last class. Tonight, in this class, we're going to go over the same thing, but from the perspective of talking about ourselves and those around us. So let's say if I'm gonna talk about myself, I'm gonna say, hi, my name is Mike. I'm a teacher. I'm 54, 53. I live in Colombia. I live with my wife. I have a pet. She's a dog. Her name is Antonia. I have a daughter. I work as a teacher. I already say that. I like to play the guitar. I practice martial arts. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a calm person, an easygoing person. I say that because I'm talking about myself. I'm pretty much describing myself. That's what we do in English. So we're going to do that in Spanish because we're going to talk about ourselves in Spanish. So basically, we're going to go over the things that we learned the last class. The thing changes when we're talking about those around us because it's basically the same, just that we have to change the subject. Subject is not going to be us, but somebody else. So when we go and talk about ourselves, we basically have, well, it's just a guide, right? It's just a guide. You don't have to follow this. If you don't want, you can create your own, but this is basically a guide in which first you greet the people. You have a saludo básico, basic greeting, right? Then you state your name and age. You introduce yourself with your name and age. You can tell where do you live or where are you from, because let's say if I were living in the United States and I were saying this, I would say I'm from Colombia. I live in Rhode Island. I live in California. So but I'm from Colombia. You see? ¿Con quién vives? Who do we live with? Relationships, personal relationships, or family, because it might be single person who lives alone, by myself, on my own, or perhaps I live with my wife, I have kids, or I live with my parents, or with my brothers, or with friends. I don't know. So who do we live with? personal relationships, or that includes friends, of course. Mascotas, pets. We have pets, of course. I guess most of people can say something about pets. If you don't have a pet, don't worry. But it's an option. Trabajo u ocupación. Your work. What do you do for a living? Occupation. Gustos o hobbies. Hobbies. I play the guitar. I practice martial arts. I practice traditional Japanese arts. I like and I practice shodo, which is Japanese calligraphy, blah blah blah. And talking about ourselves, how our personality in general. Like, I'm an easygoing person, I'm a shy person, I'm an outspoken person, so and so and so. So this is basically a guide of what we're gonna do. And of course, this is when we're talking about ourselves. When we're talking about somebody else, we're going to follow the same script or the same guide in this time, this occasion. For this video, we're doing this. We're going to follow the same. We already had our basic greeting, but we're going to state the name and age of whomever I'm going to talk about. Let's say, mi esposa, my wife. Her name is Francie. She is 52. She's going to be 53 next year. Yeah, 52. She lives blah blah blah. Her job, occupation, things that she likes to do, and her character in general. I can skip who does she live with if she's my wife, of course. I can talk about her parents or her sisters, brothers, whomever, whatever personal relationship or family she has, whatever. But I can do that. And I basically follow the same. The only thing is that in the structure of the sentences, something is going to change. And that's what we're going to try and practice tonight. Let me check this real quick. Okay. All right. Once again, thanks to everybody who's here tonight with us. Thank you for being here. Thanks to all of the people who's part of the membership program. I really appreciate that, your support, the way you show your support. And also thank you, the ones who are watching this video later, because this video is part of a playlist, you know. Okay. So, we're going to start real quick with saludo básico. Saludo básico. El saludo básico. Saludos básicos, we already know saludos básicos. Good morning. Buenos días. Good evening. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Good night. Hasta luego. But if I'm going to talk about myself, I'm not going to say good night, right? Because I'm just talking about myself. So I come here and say, buenos días. Hola. Hola a todos. If I'm talking to a group, hola a todos. So I can start with hola. Buenos días. Tardes. Noches. Right? Let's change this real quick here. Hola. I can also say hola. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? If I'm talking to more than two people, or ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está? If I'm talking to one person. Hola, ¿cómo están? Hola, ¿cómo estás? We have learned that in one of the basic classes the first classes in which we are saying basic greetings, and I have a video about basic greetings. Hola, ¿cómo están? Hola, buenas tardes. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están? Then I'm going to state my name and age. Mi nombre es Miguel. Mi nombre es Mike. Tengo 53 años. My name is Mike. I'm 53. Mi nombre es Mike. Tengo 53 años. Right? So we're following the steps. This is pretty much a standard. You either say hola, ¿cómo les va? Hola, ¿cómo están? Basic greetings. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, depending on the time of the day. And you say, mi nombre es Mike. Tengo 53 años. You can also say soy Mike. Tengo 53 años. Same thing. Soy Mike, mi nombre es Mike. You can also say me llamo Mike. And this is something that we learned last class. I can say mi nombre es Mike, soy Mike, me llamo Mike, to say my name, to state my name. I'm 53. It's tengo 53 años. And this, you can change this to whatever name or age you want to place here, you want to practice. This is something that you must practice and repeat a lot. ¿Dónde vives? ¿De dónde eres? Vivo en Colombia. If I'm saying the country, in this case, I can just say vivo en New York. City, state, whatever. ¿De dónde eres? Soy de Colombia. Soy de Colombia. When I say soy de Colombia, I'm saying I'm from Colombia, which can be stated also as vengo de Colombia. Or even you can say soy colombiano. I don't know if this Spanish, if this needs alt caps, but anyhow, let's put it there. I'm going to state where do I live and where am I from if I want. I can do both or either one. Vivo en New York, soy de Colombia, vengo de Colombia, soy colombiano. Right? In this case, you can say soy de los Estados Unidos. I'm from the United States. Vengo de los Estados Unidos. I hail from the United States. Soy de Londres. Soy de Inglaterra. I'm from the United Kingdom. Soy de Francia. I'm from France. Soy de Italia. I'm from Italia. I'm Italian. Funny thing, if I say I'm from Colombia, I'm Colombian, it's basically the same for us. Soy de Colombia, vengo de Colombia, soy colombiano. The three. So you can change country here and nationality. Who do we live with? Vivo solo. I live alone. I live by myself. I live on my own. Vivo solo. Vivo con. If I live with somebody. Vivo con. With whom? Con mi esposa. With my wife. Or with my husband. Con mi esposo. I live with. You see how I skip yo, because the verb states who am I talking about, and in Spanish we do that a lot. Soy vivo. Vivo solo. I live alone. Vivo con mi esposo o con mi esposa. I live with my wife or with my husband. Give me a second. I need to charge my computer. Just a second. Okay. Okay. And I'm drinking Colombian coffee right now. Vivo solo, vivo con mi esposa o con mi esposo. I can also say vivo con mis padres. I live with my parents. Vivo con mis padres. Vivo con unos amigos. I live with some friends. You see, I can state vivo solo if I live alone, or vivo con, and then I state who do I live with. Mi esposa, mis padres, unos amigos, un hermano, una hermana, mi hermano, mi hermana. I say that. Mis tíos, mis primos. I can say that. I'm stating that here. I'm talking about, or con mis hijos. I live with my kids. I can say that. Con mis hermanos. Anyhow, you're going to state who do you live with. You can also say, if you have kids, you can also say that. Tengo number hijos. I have 3 kids. Tengo 3 hijos. I have 2 kids. Tengo 2 hijos. Now, in Spanish, when we say hijos and we say tengo dos hijos, we mean male, female, both. In general, in Spanish, when we use plurals, we use male, and male includes male, female. That's something that happens in Spanish. In this case, if I have a daughter and a son, I can say I have two kids. Tengo dos hijos. Tengo dos hijos. Tengo tres hijos. Tengo cuatro hijos. Mascotas. Pets. Tengo una mascota. I have a pet. I have a pet. Tengo una mascota. Or I have two pets. Tengo dos mascotas. I don't have pets. No tengo mascotas. No tengo mascotas. I don't have pets. No tengo mascotas. Tengo una mascota. When we talk about pets, we usually talk about them as if they were family. My dog is not just a dog. He's a part of my family. It's a part of the clan. So I say she. When I make reference to my pet in English, I talk about her. She lives with us. Her name is Antonia. She's a dog. In Spanish is the same. Tengo una mascota. Es una perrita. In Spanish, we use a lot diminutives. A lot. So we don't say tengo una perra o tengo un perro, sino, but we say es una perrita. Tengo un perrito. I can say tengo una mascota, es una perrita, or I can say tengo una perrita. Tengo un gato, tengo un gatito, tengo un pez, tengo una tortuga. Tengo una mascota, es una tortuga. So I can use any of those. Or no tengo mascotas. Trabajo u ocupación. In English, when we talk about jobs and occupation, we say I'm a teacher. We use the article a. We use that in English. In Spanish, we don't do that. We just say soy and profession, occupation. Soy profesor. Soy doctor. Soy ingeniero. Soy maestro. Soy profesor. Soy técnico en informática. Whatever I am, I'm going to say soy. And whatever I am. Soy profesor, I'm a teacher. Soy doctor, I'm a doctor. Soy profesor, I'm a teacher. Oh, well, I already said that. Soy ingeniero, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. Soy músico, I'm a musician. I have that. Or we can also say trabajo como. I work as a teacher. Trabajo como profesor. Sometimes you will find trabajo de. Trabajo de profesor. The right way would be trabajo como. But you can find trabajo de. Soy profesor. Trabajo como profesor. Trabajo de profesor. I'm a teacher. Soy doctor. Soy médico. Trabajo como doctor. Trabajo como médico. Trabajo de médico. I can use that. And I'm talking about jobs and occupation. Hobbies. Me gusta. That's the most common sentence that we use when talking about hobbies. Me gusta. Me gusta, and then a verb ar, ir. Infinitive. Funny thing, in English, I don't say I like to play. We say I like playing, right? Gerund. Well, not really gerund, but anyway. We use this. In Spanish, this would be the verb in the infinitive form. Ar, ir. I like playing. Me gusta jugar. Me gusta jugar. So, me gusta jugar. Me gusta jugar al tenis. I like playing tennis. Me gusta tocar la guitarra. I like playing the guitar. Me gusta nadar. I like swimming. Me gusta leer. I like reading. So when I'm talking about hobbies, I always use me gusta. I also can say toco la guitarra. Like I play the guitar. I can state my hobbies just saying what I do. I swim every day. Nado todos los días. I can either say me gusta with the verb or the thing that I do in simple present tense. I play the guitar, toco la guitarra. And remember, I never use yo because we know I'm talking about me. I'm talking about myself. And last but not least, our personality. Soy. And then the adjective. That's very basic. Soy tímido. I'm shy. Soy tranquilo. I'm calm. Soy interesante. I'm interesting. Soy fácil de llevar. I'm an easygoing person. So I can say soy, or I can say soy una persona, and then the adjective. Soy una persona tímida. Remember, it doesn't matter if I'm male, female. When I say persona, it's both male or female. Soy una persona tranquila. I'm an easy guy. I'm an easy going person. Soy una persona callada. I'm a quiet person. Soy una persona tímida. I'm a shy person. And this is how we talk about ourselves. Now, this is a basic guide with a script. And here, let's say here, relationships and family, we need vocabulary about family and relationships, of course. When we talk about pets, we need to know our animals or pets. When we talk about jobs, occupations, we need to know our jobs, occupations. Baker, cook, police officer, lawyer, engineer, and so and so. And hobbies too. So, and character, we need to learn a lot of adjectives for this. So when we are doing this, we need to practice this, both talking, speaking, and listening, so we can recognize when we hear that, oh, they're asking this. Practicing a lot. And also, we need to learn a lot of vocabulary. We need to learn a lot. We need to practice a lot. Okay, so this is it. Now, if we're going to talk about those around us, what we're going to do is we're going to say the same, but we're going to talk about him or her. Because if I'm going to talk about my wife, I'm going to talk about her. Ella. Or if I'm going to talk about my dad or my brother or my husband, I'm going to talk about él. Right? In this case, I need to change this. And in this case, I most likely use the subject. So I'm going to say, su nombre es Mike. Well, in this case, my wife, su nombre es Francie. Her name is Francie. Ella tiene 52 años. Ella tiene. You see, it's not tengo, because tengo is the conjugation for me, but I need to change this for ella or él. The conjugation is the same, because if I were talking about a man, his name is, su nombre es, same thing, and él tiene 52 años. In this case, ¿dónde vive él? Él vive en Colombia. Él vive en Nueva York. ¿De dónde es? Él o ella es. Él o ella es. Él o ella viene. Él o ella es. It changes. That's the only thing that changes. ¿Con quién vive? Ella vive. Ella vive. Ella vive con. Ella tiene. Or él tiene. You see how I'm changing this when I'm talking about somebody else? Because if I'm talking about somebody else, it's always the third person, either him or her. In Spanish it would be él o ella. And the conjugation changes. Tengo for I, tiene for él or ella. Ella tiene, same thing here. Ella tiene una mascota. Ella o él. Ella tiene o él tiene una mascota. Ella tiene una perrita. Ella no tiene. Ella no tiene. It's the same. Ella es. Here. Ella es profesora. She's a teacher. Ella trabaja como profesora. She works as a teacher. Ella trabaja de profesora. It's the same here, but I'm changing the conjugation. A ella le gusta. A ella le gusta. The verb gustar, it's a tough one in Spanish. Le gusta. A ella le gusta. Or ella toca. You see how this conjugation changes? And last but not least, ella es tímida. Ella es una persona tímida. So, in a nutshell, when we're going to talk about ourselves and those around us, we follow a basic guide, in this case this one, in which first we talk about ourselves, basic sentences, different ways of saying different things, conjugated, first person singular, yo. Do not have to mention the subject, but when I'm going to talk about others, I'm talking about the third person, either him or her. In Spanish, I have to change for él or ella. And the conjugation for él or ella changes. It's the same for él or ella. In this case, tiene for tener. Right? Vive for vivir. Él vive, ella vive. That's at least a good thing. But anyhow, it's better to mention él or ella. Ella viene, ella vive, etc., etc. So we need to learn the conjugation of the verbs, and that is something that you can find in several of my videos here. Hey, sorry, I haven't checked I was so focused on this, so I didn't check the chat screen. So thank you very much. Ozen Quebec, thank you. He estado muy bien, muchas gracias. Ciao tutti, not Italian. So that's the idea. So so this is basically it for today, for tonight. I'm going to say some things. In the meantime, if you have questions about what we learned tonight, please think about that. So first, if you like this video, remember, you know what to do. Please share with your friends, group, social media. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button in order to get notifications, so you will be notified whenever we're going live, whenever we have new videos. You can participate during these live classes in the chat, and also you show your support, help us grow, keep on growing as a channel. Thank you, each and every one of you, the ones who were live here tonight, and also the ones live here tonight, and also the ones who are watching this, also the members of the channel. Thank you very much for your support. And in a nutshell, tonight we have learned how to talk about ourselves, which is pretty much a personal introduction, the thing that we learned the last class. But in this case, we're giving some additional information, and in this case, we're learning also how to use the same guide, the same script, the same sentences, and turn that to talk about somebody else. When we talk about somebody else, we talk about the third person, either him or her, right? And then we are going to talk about them, either él or ella. If you want to go further, you can use ellos or ellas, but be careful with the conjugation of the verb. If we're talking about ourselves, we don't need to say yo. We don't have to do that. But if we want to talk about third person, either singular or plural, in this case, not always, but in this case, it's better if we say él, ellos, ellas. It's better. You don't have to, but it's better. So it seems we don't have questions tonight. I hope this is going to be helpful. Remember, this is something that you need to practice. You need to practice. You need to do this a lot. Repeat. Expose yourself to language. That will get you through this process, at least through the very first part, which is the most difficult one. And start talking. Empiecen a hablar. Expónganse al idioma. Escuchen español bastante. Traten de hablarlo. Consigan gente con quien hablar. And we are going to be learning more stuff in the next classes. Next class, we're going to talk about how to describe things, people. That helps a lot. That's a very good exercise we can do alone by ourselves whenever we are somewhere, whatever we are doing, whatever. We just can, if we are not doing anything, we can start describing things in Spanish, and that's going to help you with building the skills for building sentences. So I think that's going to be it. Thanks again. Have a great night. Have a great week. Practice a lot. And see you, I think we're gonna, next class is gonna be Wednesday, because Monday is my birthday, and I'm gonna be disconnected, unavailable for the whole world on Monday. And I do have another live class for the channel in which I teach English to Spanish speakers. That's usually on Mondays. So I'm gonna move that to Tuesday next week. So our class is going to be most likely on Wednesday next week. So that will give you plenty time for practicing. Thanks again for being here. Have fun. Gracias por estar aquí. De verdad lo aprecio mucho. Estudien bastante, sigan aprendiendo. Y nos vemos la próxima semana. Bye.